It is a bad week to be a Deontay Wilder fanboy. A real bad week. Oh, God. What do we have here? Luis Ortiz, the guy who the Deontay Wilder fanboys have touted as the second best heavyweight in the world. The guy who the Deontay Wilder fanboys claim everybody in the heavyweight division is ducking apart from Deontay Wilder. A guy who has got all the plaudits and all the praise from the Wilder fanboys ever since they fought, even though prior to him fighting Wilder, most of them were not even Wilder fans at that point, but the ones who were desperate for Wilder to not fight Ortiz and coming up with excuses why he shouldn't fight the man. Such is the absurdity of the Wilder fanboy behavior. But what do we have here? Let me quote Luis Ortiz's manager. He says, Eddie and I are working on maybe doing a big money free fight deal for Luis Ortiz, so it looks likely to happen soon. Eddie could make Luis a big star in the UK. At the end, I think Hearn and Louis DeCubas Jr. will give the best choice for Luis King Kong Ortiz, so I'll wait on them. So far, they have been great and have delivered the best fights. Those are the words of Jay Jimenez, the manager of Luis Ortiz. Eddie Hearn, the devil. Eddie Hearn, the worst promoter in the world. Eddie Hearn, the used car salesman. Luis Ortiz is contemplating signing with him again. Oh, it is a bad time to be a Deontay Wilder fanboy this week, isn't it? Eddie Hearn is so bad that, according to the Wilder fanboys, the second best heavyweight in the world, the guy who gave Deontay Wilder the scare of his life, the guy who Deontay Wilder fans claim the whole of the heavyweight division apart from Wilder is running from, the guy who was signed to Eddie Hearn a couple of years ago, is talking about signing to Eddie Hearn again. He must be terrible, right? If Ortiz wants to go back. The grass ain't always greener on the other side, you know. Luis Ortiz might have discovered that. Now, one thing which some people are saying about this is that this could be Eddie Hearn's requirement for allowing Ortiz to fight a Dylan White or an Anthony Joshua or whoever else in his stable. Derek Chisora, Jarrell Miller. He may want options on Ortiz. And that could be the case. Yeah? Promoters, historically, if they're going to put their top level fighters in with a danger man, where they can, they like to get options on that danger man. For example, we saw it when Julius Indongo fought Ricky Burns. Indongo beat Burns, and then Eddie Hearn had options on Indongo, where he got the opportunity to promote Indongo's next, I think, 1 or 2 fights after that. So perhaps that's what he's looking to do with Ortiz here. Ortiz wants to fight certain Eddie Hearn fighters, and Hearn saying, okay, I'll let you fight him. Do a free fight deal with me. If you beat one of my guys, I get to promote your next 2 fights. That could be what's going on. I don't know. Or maybe that's not what's going on. Maybe there's something else going on entirely. I have no idea. I'm an outsider looking in. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. You know, as far as Eddie Hearn making Luis Ortiz a superstar in the UK, I just don't see it. I don't see it. The guy don't speak a word of English. The guy is God knows how old. The guy stands a very good chance of losing to at least one or all of Eddie Hearn's top heavyweights. And when I say all, I'm talking about Dylan White, Anthony Joshua, and Jarrell Miller. And I know Jarrell Miller is, I guess, co-promoted by Eddie Hearn at the moment, not fully promoted. But those 3 guys all have the potential to beat Luis Ortiz. I'm not saying I would pick all of them. I'm saying they all have the potential to beat him. It's a competitive fight against Luis Ortiz, whichever one of those 3 guys fights him. to build somebody as a star in the UK, you need a story. You need somebody who's relatable. You need somebody who the fans can connect with. And when the guy don't speak any English, that's hard. And when the guys don't have time on his side, that's hard. If he was to fight an Anthony Joshua, for example, give Joshua a very tough fight, maybe drop him, but Joshua comes through and beats him, that would endear Luis Ortiz to the British public. That would make, that might give him a cult following, and it would at least make him known in the UK. But unless he does that, it's going to be difficult building this guy up as a big star in the UK. Very difficult. Right now, nobody in the UK knows Luis Ortiz apart from boxing nerds like me and you. That's it. Nobody knows this guy. This guy can walk down the street in any UK city and nobody will recognize him. Kind of like Deontay Wilder when he walks down the street in the US. I couldn't help it. Forgive me. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Ortiz possibly signing with Eddie Hearn again, another free fight deal. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? I mean, we already know what the Wilder fans think. Oh, don't do it, Luis. Hearn is the Hearn's the worst promoter in the world. Even though Hearn has done way better numbers than any US promoter in the past however many years. This is a fact. No US promoter is consistently packing out stadiums like Eddie Hearn is, packing out arenas and consistently doing pay-per-views. No US promoter around right now is doing what Hearn is doing in the UK. But somehow he's a terrible promoter. He's garbage. Nobody should sign. I mean, what? Anthony Joshua is earning how much more than Deontay Wilder per fight? And Deontay Wilder's had, 40 fights now or something like that? And Anthony Joshua's only just had over 20? Dylan White is making how much money per fight? And he's never even fought for a heavyweight title. He's doing pay-per-views. Which promoter in the US has got their heavyweight contenders doing pay-per-views like Dylan White? But Eddie Hearn's rubbish, right? He's a terrible... Or anybody could do what... This is another argument you hear from people. Oh, any promoter could do what Eddie Hearn's doing in the UK. So why aren't the other promoters in the UK doing what Eddie Hearn's doing then? How come Frank Warren's not doing anywhere near as good as Eddie Hearn? And Frank Warren's been around for a long time. He's not doing anywhere near as good as Eddie Hearn's doing in the UK. And there are other promoters. Mick Hennessy. Frank Maloney, even though he don't do no boxing no more. These are people who couldn't make it in the UK boxing market. And plenty of other promoters. Dave Coldwell gave up promoting. It's not easy. People act like any American promoter could just land in the UK and do what Eddie Hearn has done. No, they could not. Was Eddie Hearn born with a silver spoon in his mouth? Of course he was. Did he have a massive head start over the other promoters in the UK? Of course he did. But so did Frank Warren's kids. And what have they done? Nothing. They've done nothing. They've had the same head start in the boxing promotion game that Eddie Hearn has had. Frank Warren's kids grew up rich just like Eddie Hearn did. But they've done nothing. And I'm talking in relative terms here. They've obviously put on some shows, but compared to what Hearn has done, they've literally done sod all. Because it's not just about getting a financial head start. You do have to have some talent. And Eddie Hearn, whether you love him or loathe him, is a very talented salesman. He is. And I know people use that as a pejorative. Oh, he's a salesman. Yes, he is a salesman. That's what boxing promoters are. They're salesmen. They promote boxing. They sell you shows. You pay to get in or you pay to watch. They are salesmen. Of course they are. So the idea of using salesman as a pejorative for a boxing promoter is ironic to say the least. He's supposed to be a salesman. And he happens to be an extremely good salesman. Just look at his numbers and compare them to Frank Warren's numbers. You know, the numbers don't lie. Anyway, let me know what you feel about this in the comment section below. Luis Ortiz contemplating signing with Eddie Hearn again. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's happening. I'm out.
Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.